Yeah, I mean, just, today's game, obviously the quality start from Aiden Canuck, 6 innings, no walks, 11 strikeouts, just really, kind of just setting the tone with the first inning, really 3 punch-outs, and then just wiggled out of multiple jams, some double plays. Just awesome the way he pitched, and then the offense took a while to get going, but once it got going, then it was hard to stop. And yeah, guys like Blake having quality at bats every single time he comes up, whether it's hitting a homer or drawing a walk or doing something. And then we did a good job of just executing, moving runners over, getting runners in, taking our walks. Took a lot of walks today. That was a big deal. Made a point of emphasis to say our offense is better when we're holding the zone and getting free passes. So, just thought today, just looking at today, I thought it was our best game of the weekend. And then big picture, the seniors on this team to allow this program to kind of return itself back to where it needs to be, and to think that back-to-back years of 20 wins in conference and 40 wins in the regular season, and still a lot to play for, but guys like Blake Wright, who takes no reps off, whether it's batting practice or individual defense and training or the weight room or anything, just showing the way for guys like Aiden of what leadership is. And Blake brings guys with him, and so it's Blake, it's all the captains, it's all the seniors, and then it's a group of newcomers, and all of them who have bought in to make this team special, but get this program right back where it needs to be.
Questions for the players? Aiden and Blake?
Blake, I guess you couldn't have scripted your senior day any better. I mean, you reached base 4 times, had a home run, a sack, ribby, you even got in a curtain call. What were your emotions like today?
Yeah, it was cool. Definitely a special moment. Pretty cool that Coach Backus did that for sure. It just shows how special this place is, and very grateful to be here for 4 years.
When you were coming off, did you know that he was giving you that call? Because it seemed like you were a little surprised to see a pinch runner coming over there.
Yeah, I looked at Coach Schnabel. I'm like, I was kind of like, what's going on? What's he saying? And then Coach Schnabel was like, just give a salute to the fans. It's pretty cool. Take it all in. So definitely a cool moment for sure.
And how good did you feel out there today? You had a week off a couple weeks ago. If you could tell us a little bit about that, and then had a rough game at Wake last week, but you were really dominant today.
Yeah, it felt good to be, get that groove back. But even last week didn't have the best start, but defense is always there behind me. So it's good knowing that having a good defense brings your confidence up, and was able to get back in my groove again. So yeah, it felt great out there.
Blake, what could this sweep do for you guys now going into postseason play?
Yeah, we're just trying to gain momentum, trying to keep playing good baseball and take it into this tournament, and then take it into the regional.
For both of you guys, how does your mindset change going into postseason play?
It doesn't change. We're just going to maintain, keep doing everything that we're doing, keep playing hard, and just, again, trying to build that momentum, trying to play good every single game.
You've been a part of a team now that's won 20 conference games back-to-back years. First time that's happened since 2006. The foundation you guys as a group have laid the last 2 years, how proud are you to be a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's super cool to be a part of. It all starts with this guy, laying the foundation, starting a culture that everyone has bought into the last couple of years. So, we just got to keep going, keep trusting in ourselves, keep playing good baseball. The sky's the limit for this team.
And how excited are you about going to your first ACC tournament?
Very excited. I mean, it's another championship we get to play for. I'm just excited to go into next week and take it one game at a time and go out there and compete again.
Like, you got some teammates that weren't on that championship team last year, including the guy to your right. So what do you say to them as one of the leaders of this team? How do you prepare them mentally for going into this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it all starts from when we got here in the fall. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Again, just putting emphasis on playing good baseball, and everything else will take care of itself.
Blake, your dad was possibly the most excited parent of the senior day celebration. He said you guys had 12 family members here to honor you. What was it like to share that moment with him? You guys were palling around in the line before you guys
it's
celebrated.
Awesome. None of it's possible if it weren't for him and the rest of my family members. So, super cool to have them all here with me and to celebrate that moment. And, they're so supportive. So, definitely a super cool moment for sure.
Blake, y'all have played at Truist this season. Is that an advantage going into the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the ballpark before, but again, if we just play good, everything else will take care of itself.
Anything else for the players? All right, thank you, players.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Question for Coach? Coach, it's been a great regular season. What are you hoping to see out of your guys come ACC tournament play?
You just keep the target on playing good. I mean, that's really what it's about. When we compete hard, play hard, have fun, and just kind of simplify, then good things happen. I mean, we don't have to play our best game to win the game. We just need to be consistently good. And we've had some setbacks along the way, but we've been pretty consistent, and that'll be really important. Just the confidence that they have, and the belief that they have. We've got a lot of intangible skills with this group. I think the pitching, has shown flashes. Certainly, what we saw today is something that we can aspire to and achieve to. And I think that the sky's the limit for this team once we're clicking on all cylinders. And I think we're going to see some really good pitching performances out of this team in the postseason.
You've been your Sunday starter all season. Do you consider moving him up in the rotation for the tournament, or is that something you'll play by ear? Or?
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, it's kind of like what we did with Grice last year, where he pitches game 2 of the regional and he shifts up a day in the ACC tournament. So Aiden starting today on a Saturday kind of sets him up to pitch on Saturdays from here on out. So that'd be something that we'll look at. And we got to get to Saturday by first we got to take care of business. Whoever the first game is, I think we play the 11th seed, right? And yeah, for sure Miami. So whenever we play them, that'll be our focus. And before we get to that, it's just preparation that we'll need. They'll have an off day tomorrow, and we'll get down there on Monday. So whenever we play, we'll look forward to a good few days of preparation, getting ready for Miami. But then we'll need to take it one game at a time to advance that way. But yes, Aiden will set up to have him kind of going on that Saturday.
What has Blake kind of meant to you as you're trying to get this program going and get it where you want it to ultimately be, to have a guy like him who's bought in and has done all the things you've asked him to do to have the success he's had?
Yeah, I mean, every program needs a leader. That one of the players is kind of the alpha, the guy that that everybody looks to. It's the glue guy. It's the guy that sets the example. So there's different styles of leadership, and sometimes you just get good players who just play good and that's all they do, and they think they lead, but it's not really leading just because they play good and lead by example. That's not really. Then you have vocal leaders who talk a lot, but maybe it's not as much of an inspiration as when you have a guy who is not only one of our best players, but he's also one of our hardest workers, and he's also one of our vocal leaders. That's the recipe, and that's what Blake is. He's one of our best players. He's one of our hardest workers. He's a vocal leader, and he puts his arms around everybody, and he brings everybody with him. So if freshman doesn't feel like there's separation between the senior and the freshman, he's just got a relationship with every guy on the team. He's brought so many young hitters along and kind of showed them his routine and his plan, and then what he does when nobody's watching, what he does when it's just our team out there in training. I mean, he's just come to pregame batting practice when you think most people would be conserving energy, and Blake Wright is diving all over the field and making slow roller plays, and then the coaching staff were thinking, settle down and take it easy, but he only knows one speed. It's 100% every day at everything, because how he does anything is how he does everything. The guy's got a chance to hit and play this game for a long time, but after that, this is the guy you want running any company, and any employee underneath him is just going to have to bring it and try to match what Blake Wright brings. And then you see Shane and you're like, it makes sense, his dad. And I tell both of them all the time, this is just a time warp. This is like just a 25-year time warp. That's Shane looking at Blake, and that's going to be Blake looking at Shane. But Blake's lucky, to just have the family that he's got, and they've raised him right. From his both grandmothers, his parents, to it's just, it's awesome having them here and the energy they bring and the energy he brings. It doesn't get much better than that. So it actually wasn't my idea on the curtain call. Coach Leggett kind of leaned over and he said, you know, when Casey Stone was here, we made a defensive replacement on senior day so he could get an ovation from the crowd. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. So we were actually going to do it on defense, but then the inning just started to go, and so we called the press box and said, we're going to do it right now. But I'm glad the fans got up for Blake because there's nobody more deserving. There's not a better leader, better captain, and so to answer your question, he's meant everything to the last 2 years because there's nobody that upholds the standards better than Blake Wright.
It was your third shutout of the season. After the bullpen struggled a little bit the last few games, how important was it to finish on this note, see Malstead pitch the way he did, and also no errors on the defense?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about, you know, just playing good, and we go over every game the next day, every day. So like today we went over yesterday we went over the day before, and it's just, we have certain goals that we're trying to reach offensively, defensively, on a pitching staff and as a team, and so it was just, there were opportunities to play better in each of these scenarios of game 1 and game 2, and the guys really, they did a good job. And you know, obviously Aiden Canuck on the mound putting up 6 zeros is a big deal, but Lucas Malstead behind him and the defense behind both of them. And he, especially when the offense took a few innings to get going. I mean, that was a huge deal. We didn't score for 4 innings, and that game could have gone any direction. You know, if we had got down, fine. You know, that's normal for us. But it's felt a lot better to get a lead and extend a lead. But that doesn't happen without Aiden Canuck and Lucas Malstead and the defense behind him.
I'm a day late on this, Coach, but clinching your first Atlantic Division title for Clemson since 2018. What does that mean for you, being in your second year here, kind of doing that?
I mean, we really wanted to do the regular overall, you know, the 1 seed. So I think we that was more the goal, is to, you know, be the outright champions. But it's like, if you don't do that, then at least win the division, you know, and then you got the tournament. So there's actually 3 championships in the ACC to play for, and we just want to be greedy and get them all. So, you know, we didn't get the outright, but we got the division, and now, you know, you got 10 teams that are going to be going at it for, or 12. How many teams? 12 teams. There are going to be 12 teams going at it for the tournament championship, and we want that one too. But you know, it's the team that's going to win the tournament next week is going to be the team that plays the best. So everything just gets reduced down to how we play, not who we play, because we'll be playing different teams every day.
Is it any easier that you have a number of players on your roster that have won an ACC tournament just 1 year ago?
Yeah, they'll probably draw on that memory and that experience, and but you know, different city, different park, different players, different teams, different rosters. So it's similar that you have the you know, you can draw on, you know, what happened a year ago, but it's not going to impact the execution of the game. But yeah, I'm sure guys will use it to their advantage if they can. I won't talk about it like that, but I'm sure it'll be beneficial for guys just being in that situation.
Now that you've had an experienced pool play last year, are you more of a fan of it now than you were going in last year?
No, not really. I like tournament play. I like, you know, where you just got to win in advance, and it's, you don't, you know, it's like a true tournament. But I see the value now in the, you know, why the ACC does pool play. But honestly, I don't even care. It's just we'll play whoever you tell us to play, and you know, we'll be excited to do it. So it just it sets up maybe some strategy in how we structure the pitching staff. But it's a huge advantage when you're one of those top 4 seeds for sure. I guess I like pool play when you're one of the top 4 seeds.
Speaking of strategy, setting up the pitching staff, what are your plans for the pitching staff going in?
So the way we did it last year, which I thought made a lot of sense, is we treat it like any other week where you have a midweek game and you have conference games. And the game that you need to win in order to advance to the semifinals is like a conference game, and the game that is, quote, you know, people say meaningless, but it means a lot, but that's more like a midweek game. There's still a totally different feeling between winning and losing, so you want to keep those good feelings going. But it'll just be like how we would structure midweek pitching for that game, and how we would structure conference weekend pitching for the other ones, and then we'll just kind of treat it like that. But I say that now, but we don't know who we're playing, we don't know when we're playing, so a lot of that will determine rest time and who's available and all that stuff.
How's
When-
Will Taylor doing?
What's that?
How's Will Taylor doing?
That's what he was going to.
That's what you were gonna say?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Just
Yeah.
injuries on general.
Willie T's awesome, man. He's out there. He's fired up. He still has his cast on. He won't. He either gets it off next week, right before the regional, or he gets it off right after the regional. So he'll either be available. I'd say just conservatively, he would be back and available to play after the regional. But it could be as aggressive as before. Just may not be in a role where he's taking full swings, but he could do something. But I don't know. We'll have to see when he gets his cast off, and how much time he'll need lead time to kind of get ready to go again.
Did
What
Jack
does-
Crichton's absence today have anything to do with his shoulder from yesterday?
He said he was fine. We wanted to get Naraki in there and keep him going as well, so it was just kind of an excuse to give him the day. But his shoulder was fine. He was good to go. He'll be back. Jack will start next game. It's good. But yeah, Nolan looks good too. I mean, we've got good guys.
I was just going to ask, what does it mean for you for your program that back-to-back 20-win conference seasons? It hadn't been done in a long time here since it's been done. What's that mean to you?
I hadn't really thought about it. I'm just more happy for the guys that that they set a goal and achieved it, and they talked about winning the regular season and being champions, and 20 is a number that was mentioned last year. It was mentioned this year, and so to put it down on paper and to see it and then to go out and do it, that it's a credit to them. Yeah, I'm happy with it's tough. It's a tough league, and that's a big accomplishment, in any one season, let alone 2 seasons. But it just goes to show you the not only the mindset of this group, the buy-in of this group, but just the ability to execute and be consistent. Because you got to be consistent if you're going to do that, especially with the teams, the caliber of the teams in this conference.
Coach, Matt Marshall's dad was telling me that a lot of times he addresses the team and gets you guys started in activities before you get going. What does that say about Matt as a leader, and why is he one of the guys who initiates a lot of your activities?
Yeah, Matt, they do. We start and it's a chant, Matt, 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 and then he comes up here and he has some words of wisdom for the guys, and I think it's primarily to keep everybody loose, because his message always has something of strategy, and then there's always something to get them smiling or laughing. But he's just awesome. He's just an awesome dude. And I don't know why they picked him. I guess he's that guy that has that ability to motivate a team, but also keep a team loose when he's not trying to. Be funny when he's not necessarily trying to, which is a great quality. But they love. It's almost just become a ritual that we have, and he's been doing it for months now. So I think he's been doing it since after the South Carolina series. So we'll stick with it, and love having him do it, because he's always putting a smile on people's faces.
Coach, your team has a bunch of come from behind wins this year. Didn't have to do that today, but you've spoken in the past about that team, or this team, having that fight back mindset. But when exactly this season did you kind of realize that this would be that kind of team?
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. No, I'm just kidding. It's one thing to have mental toughness Wednesdays in the fall and talk about we're never out of the fight, and it's a big part of our training and a big part of building the what's cemented into the foundation of this program. It's a totally different thing to talk about it all year long and then actually be in the situation where you need to come back and actually come back. And it's a totally different outlier scenario to have to do it like 25, 30 times, which we've done. And you don't see that in more today's world. And I don't know why, but a lot of times it just, been seen other teams or even been a part of teams where it's like if you get behind, it almost feels like you at a disadvantage. And it's just a mindset, really. And so our guys have the mindset that they're never out of the fight because, number one, they've trained a certain way. They've trained to a certain standard. So they don't have to rise up to meet this new challenge of coming from behind. They just have to perform at the level of their training because the level of their training is just as great or greater than whatever this challenge is over here, whether it's a big deficit late or a big deficit early or a deficit at all, or responding from losses. And so they just have this belief system going into the season that they can do it, and then they do it. And that's just what you need. You need to be able to do it a few times to then it just becomes ingrained. It's just like, yeah, it's just what we do. And so that's a good feeling to have going into tournament baseball. But it's a better feeling to be playing well, at the right time. And the way we responded this week from last week is exactly what we wanted to see. It's a good feeling moving forward.
Anything else for Coach?